Welcome. Hi, everyone. Awesome to see you here. Just getting started, waiting for some more people to come in to the room, and we will get going. I have a full hour of content to share with you this morning, and I'm excited. I hope you are too. I would love for you to type in the chat where you're tuning in from, because I love meeting people from all over the world. Hey, Mark, nice to see you. Awesome. Well, I think we'll get started. Like I said, I have a full hour of content for you. So welcome. My name is Melissa Deely. I am the owner of Your Guided Health Journey and an integrative health practitioner and registered health coach. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend this hour with me on the How to Heal Your Gut So You Can Enjoy Food Again webinar. And I see people typing in the chat there. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Juniper. Hi, Neil, all the way from Germany. Awesome to see you. And Massachusetts. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. So I'd love to know, how many of you have been searching unsuccessfully for answers as to why you struggle with foods and continue to suffer with limited choices of foods you can eat? Just type that in the chat if that's you. Today, I'm going to teach you what you can do to start healing from the inside out so you can begin enjoying food again. This webinar could literally change your life, and I hope it does. You see, we eat 2 to 3 times a day as we need to eat for energy, but I know it sucks to be in pain every time you eat, or have to actually plan trips around the closest bathroom and where that might be, or just eat the same food over and over again to avoid the pain, because that gets so boring. Well, you are in the right place to start getting some solutions. I also want to invite you to shut down all distractions and tune in for this hour of self-care time and stick with me through the whole presentation so that you don't miss out on any of the information teaching you how to kickstart your healing process. And at the end of the webinar, I'll be giving you an opportunity to work with me one-to-one for free to help you discover your true culprits that are causing you this discomfort. It is different for everyone, as you'll soon come to understand, which is why having a personal conversation with me is the best next step for you. I want to help you understand why you are struggling in the first place, so that you know what you can do to start enjoying your meals again, and therefore enjoying life again. When you can't eat, life can become a chore. Always having to plan where you're going to eat, who you're eating with, will there be a bathroom nearby, or simply turning down social invitations because you can't trust your own body to behave. My clients often tell me that they know where every public bathroom is in the areas they most often frequent. Is this the same for you? Here is what I know. This is bigger than just enjoying food again, right? This is about you simply getting to enjoy life with the people you love and having meal times be pleasurable. And I bet right now your greatest wish is to once again have the freedom to eat wherever, whenever, and with whomever you want. By the end of the webinar, you'll know what habits you have that are making things worse, so you can change them. You'll know how stress and sleep and toxins are impacting the health of your gut and its ability to tolerate the foods that you are eating. You'll learn the importance of slowing down when you eat and chewing more. You'll also know your options for healing using the power of science and data with powerful functional medicine labs that let you see inside your body to know exactly what is going on, and then be able to follow a personalized wellness protocol. You've likely been struggling with pain or discomfort after eating and living a very limited diet. Just for a minute, imagine what life would look like once you no longer have to think about every piece of food you put in your mouth and how it will make you feel. Imagine not having to plan your day around being close to a bathroom. Imagine just being able to eat practically whatever you want with your family and friends whenever you want. Type in the chat how that feels. I see some more people tuning in from Nashville, Vancouver. Some of you are saying, yep, that sounds like you. True enough. And so here's the thing. Many of my clients think they've tried everything and nothing worked and have given up by the time they find me. They are discouraged and resigned to never really enjoying food again. It really is a shame that our mainstream medical system is so broken and doesn't have access to these lab tests, because we've all been taught if we get sick, we go to the doctor, but their hands are tied by a system that is all about optimizing shareholder profit and not human health. Big Pharma and all of its power doesn't really want you to heal. They want you to keep buying their antacids and painkillers and relying on prescription drugs. The truth is there's no money in it for them if you find a way to heal naturally. So they do not allow doctors to offer tests that help you heal. They only allow them to write prescriptions. And this is why you have to turn to holistic practitioners that can actually offer you protocols that allow your body to come back into balance and heal itself. I am not a doctor. I do not diagnose and I do not cure. But as an integrative health practitioner, I simply help your body find its way back into balance. We discover the root cause of what's going on for you. We discover your toxic load and remove the toxicities. And then we look at the imbalances and support them in order to bring the body back into balance. Wherever there's deficiencies, there's imbalances. Modern life has us living way out here, out of balance, not enough sleep, too much stress, perhaps poor nutrition. And the body just isn't in an environment that it can bring itself back. So we need to support it in coming back into balance, and it will take over and heal itself, which is exactly what it's designed to do, just like it heals a cut finger or a broken arm. And what I want for you is to get results my clients are getting. Like my client who could barely eat, had lost 20 pounds off a healthy frame, but felt lousy and had low energy all the time. We discovered she had bacterial overgrowth, mold, and yeast in her gut. Once she started her healing protocol, it only took a couple of weeks until she noticed marked improvements and knew she was finally on the right path after a myriad of doctor's appointments that were either telling her they had no idea what was wrong with her or that nothing was wrong with her. I had another client who was convinced that the food intolerances were not a trigger for his gut issues because he'd eaten that food for his whole life. So why would it suddenly be a problem? But when our gut is out of balance due to high stress, poor sleep, toxins, inflammation, we do end up with food intolerances. And when I used the data of lab tests to prove this to him and gave him a wellness protocol that he was easily able to follow, he too started feeling better in just a short time, just a couple of weeks. He was also thrilled that after completing my detox program, his blood pressure came down to normal levels in just a few weeks. So I'm going to show you the exact steps you can take to bring your body back into balance so it can start healing itself. And you don't have to go away and do any more research and try to figure it all out on your own. When you allow yourself to be guided through the process, you can relax, as it's only in this relaxed state that your body can heal. So type yes in the chat if you are finally ready to learn what you need to do to begin your healing journey. Awesome. I love it. So I'm going to be sharing with you 3 problems that have likely got you to where you are today and 3 solutions to them. So let's start off with the first one, that the things you're doing every day are making things worse or compounding the problem. And this isn't your fault. We haven't been taught how to optimize our health. So we're all just trying to do the best we can, living life, doing things that we have no idea are actually causing us problems. So poor sleep and high stress kill off good bacteria in your gut. And in fact, getting only 4 hours of sleep in a night reduces your cancer killer cells by 70% in just one night. We all have cancer cells in our body. We all have cancer killer cells in our body. We don't want to be killing off those cancer killer cells. We need them. So as I said, stress kills off good bacteria, and it affects the structural integrity in key areas of your digestive tract. For instance, it causes the lower esophageal sphincter at the bottom of your esophagus, at the entrance to your stomach cavity, to malfunction. And this is meant to be a nice, tight, one-way gate so that food can go down into the stomach cavity and then it closes up nice and tight. Except that under high stress, it gets floppy. And then what happens is stomach acid leaks out of the stomach and up into the esophagus, causing heartburn and acid reflux. Well, this has many people swallowing antacids like candy, thinking they have too much stomach acid. And the reality is that they likely have too little stomach acid. It's just that it's getting out because of a faulty sphincter. And the reason we know that they have too little stomach acid is that when we are under high stress, our body is in our fight or flight state. And in that state, our brain triggers our body to produce more cortisol and adrenaline in order for us to be able to flee and get to safety. In order to do that, the body has to shut down other systems that it doesn't need in that moment. And it shuts down procreation and it shuts down digestion. Because when we're trying to get to safety, if we're in our hunter-gatherer days running away from a lion or a tiger, we don't care about digestion. We don't care about procreation. So the stomach is not producing any stomach acid at that time or any enzymes to break down our food. So if we are eating in a stress state, the body isn't producing stomach acid. And if we're living in a chronic stress state that has caused that sphincter to malfunction and get floppy, we are rarely producing enough stomach acid to break down our food properly. And on top of that, we're now taking drugs or over-the-counter antacids to further inhibit our body from producing stomach acid. This means that when we do eat, our body is unable to break down our food properly. And not only that, that stomach acid helps to kill off any pathogens that are coming in with our food, like bacteria that the body doesn't want, parasites, but we don't have enough stomach acid to be doing that. So food is passing through our stomach cavity and further into our digestive tract, not broken down well enough. So we're not benefiting from the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we get from that food, but it's also causing discomfort, and it's also causing potential constipation, explosive diarrhea, or if the body can't even have it exit the body, it simply stores it in fat closets. So tell me in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your stress level at? On average, where do you think you're at? So yeah, seeing some of those numbers coming in, there's some pretty, high stress there, right? And we're living in a stressed out world. Even before COVID, the world was the most stressed out it's ever been. But when we look around and we see that everyone else is stressed out, we normalize it and we think it's okay. But trust me, it's not. Scores of 7 and 8, they're affecting your body's ability to function, and it's affecting your long-term health. So I just want to tell you my story here, because this was me back in my corporate days. I was struggling with migraines, and when I went to the doctor, she just kept trying to give me another prescription and a higher dose. But I kept asking why. I felt like if I knew why, I could do something about it, right? She had no answer. So I chose holistic medicine and went to a naturopath. And that was my first experience with functional medicine labs. She tested my hormones with a saliva test, which gave me the results of my cortisol levels throughout the day, as well as all of my sex hormones. And it turned out that my high stress was producing more cortisol and stealing from progesterone. Because remember I said, the body's trying to make cortisol so we can get to safety, and it shuts down procreation. So my body decided I didn't need progesterone in that moment. I needed more cortisol. So it was stealing from progesterone to produce that cortisol. Well, what happens then is my estrogen levels are normal, my progesterone levels are low. It puts me into a state of estrogen dominance. Well, a very common side effect, and there are many, of estrogen dominance is migraines. So now I had an answer as to why I was having these migraines. But the other thing that was really awesome was to know this, because estrogen dominance is also linked to breast cancer. So those migraines were a symptom to me that I had to do something different. I had to change, or I was going to potentially go down this path towards breast cancer. Fortunately, the migraines were painful enough I wanted to make change. So I started a tincture that I took for 2 weeks of the next 2 cycles in order to boost my progesterone and bring my body back into balance. And my migraines were almost gone at the end of that, which was awesome. No longer did I have to deal with the pain. I wasn't wasting time lying around in bed wishing someone would chop off my head. And I wasn't having to struggle through work feeling nauseous, unable to function, but just trying to meet deadlines. I finally knew what was going on. And I also had this new understanding of what stress was doing to my body, which was transformational because now I had a choice. Plus, I was really happy not to be having to take more drugs. I just talked about stress and how it messed up my hormones. And I've talked about stress and digestion too. Are you starting to understand that our bodies are all interconnected? Understanding this allows us to make better choices in everything that we do. So, how many of you in your busy life are eating on the run? And maybe not so much during COVID if you're at home, but even before COVID, we were all busy and eating on the run. But meals should be eaten in community, and they should be eaten in a minimum of 20 minutes. We should be slowing down and enjoying that meal because we need to be in our rest and digest state, the opposite of our fight or flight state, because that is when digestion is turned on. And not only that, we need to chew our food more. The average person chews 3 to 7 times for every mouthful before swallowing it. And that puts a lot of pressure on the rest of our digestive tract, and again, can cause pain. Instead, we need to be chewing at least 20 times and getting our jaw and our salivary enzymes much more involved in the digestive process. I like to say we should drink our solids and chew our liquids. So that might sound weird, but if we drink our solids, it means that we're breaking them down enough that we can swallow them as if they were a liquid. And on the flip side, chewing our liquids is important too, because even if it's a smoothie and it's something that can slide down easily, there's still a lot of food in there that needs to be broken down into all the vitamins and minerals that our body needs. And when we chew it in our mouth and swirl it around and get that chewing action going, we're getting our salivary enzymes involved, and our mouth is doing a lot more of the work so that it's just that much easier and less stressful on the rest of our digestive tract. So toxins are also impacting the health of your microbiome or your gut ecosystem. And we have 100,000 man-made chemicals that have come into our world since World War II. Eating food, even organic food, drinking water, using lotions on our skin, and just being outside in cities with traffic buzzing past us results in us getting toxins inside our body. But because we can't see them, we don't really think about it and we're not aware of it. However, a lifetime of this happening leads me to ask this question. Are your trash cans overflowing? And no, I don't mean the ones you put out on the street. I mean the ones inside your body, your liver and your kidneys. When they get overburdened and bogged down, they can't cleanse the body and get the toxins out as well as they should. What happens if you leave your garbage out on the street for too long? Maybe there's a garbage strike. It starts to smell and rot, attract bugs and flies, putrefy, and it's gross, right? This is what's happening inside your body if we can't get the toxins out. And when we really get overloaded, toxins will be stored in our fat tissues to protect them from getting into our bloodstream. And our body starts to get inflamed and send signals to turn on disease. And I don't think any of you want that. What we do know now is that 90 to 95% of all the diseases are the result of the environment you create inside your body. This is really empowering because it means you have a choice. And what I do is I help my clients create an environment that is inhospitable to disease. We really need to be getting our toxins out. So let's talk solutions to this particular issue. First of all, look at your lifestyle. Improve your self-care to lower your stress. Improving your sleep also helps make you more stress resilient. I know life is busy, but one of my favorite quotes is that self-care is the most selfless act because it allows you to show up and give the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. The key for me in really stepping into practicing my own self-care was to schedule it in my calendar, because then it gets done and nobody else can take that time away from me. I also suggest you plan your day around getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. If you have to be up at 6 a.m., then be in bed by 9:30 to read and wind down, lights out by 10. Think about what you need to do to get your body ready for sleep, because our busy world, go all day and then lie down in bed and expect to sleep on demand doesn't work. Our hormones and our bodies are more complicated than that. I have an online course called 6 Steps to Better Sleep, which will guide you through the importance of prioritizing sleep and give you many steps to improving your sleep, such as building a bedtime hygiene routine, optimizing your bedroom for sleep and comfort, and point out those habits you have that negatively impact your sleep, that because you haven't been taught how to optimize your sleep, you are probably not aware of. Type in the chat what time you go to bed most nights. This is really important to know because we are diurnal creatures, which is the opposite of nocturnal, meaning we should be awake during the day and asleep during the night. And our hormones dictate optimal times for us to be getting into a good, restful sleep. And when we miss that window, we're never going to sleep as well as if we go to sleep during that window. So I'm seeing some of you are awesome, and some of you are getting to bed and missing that window. So the optimal window is 10 to 11 p.m. And the reason is, if we, again, go back to our hunter-gatherer days, they went to sleep when it was dark and they woke up at dawn because they didn't have electricity back then, right? We do now, and that's actually ever since the advent of electricity has messed us up. But our bodies are very slow to evolve since the beginning of time, so our hormonal patterns haven't changed. And our cortisol is highest in the morning, and it drops steadily throughout the day. And melatonin is the inverse hormone of cortisol, and it is rising in the evening in order to help you get into that restorative sleep. And they cross where cortisol is at its lowest and melatonin is at its highest between 10 and 11 p.m. at night. So that is the optimal time for everyone to get to sleep and get into that deep restorative sleep. And some people might be like, but if I go past that, I get a second wind. And you do get a second wind because your cortisol is starting to rise again and it gives you energy, which is why it's highest in the morning. But you're going to miss that opportunity to get into that nice, deep, restorative sleep. As I've said before, we are so interconnected. And when I work with my clients on their gut health, I'm also working with them on their sleep and their stress, etc. And I've had clients come to me for help with sleep, and it turns out we've had to clean up their gut, and then their sleep has naturally improved. Something else I want you to think about is when and where you eat your meals. Are you relaxed? Have you allowed yourself 20 minutes? And if you aren't relaxed, here's a little trick that you can do in order to switch on your rest and digest state. I call it 5-5-7 breathing. You can just do a check-in as you sit down to a meal. How am I feeling right now? Am I feeling stressed? And if you are, do this so that you can turn on your digestive system and actually get the benefit of the food that you're eating. So what you're going to do is you're going to inhale for 5, hold your breath for 5, or if you can't hold it for 5, hold it for 2, and then exhale for a count of 7. And do that 10 times. And your brain goes, I thought I was stressed out, but I'm breathing like a safe person. I must be safe. And the reason the brain triggers to that is because the exhale is longer than the inhale. Think about it. If you're running away from a lion or a tiger trying to get to safety, you're going to be running hard and panting. your exhale is not going to be longer than your inhale. So that's what triggers your brain to go, I must be safe. The other benefit of this is that as you count your breaths, it gets your brain to focus on counting and let go of whatever other stressful thoughts are trying to pop into your brain. So this is a very valuable technique. You've always got your breath. You can do it anywhere. You can do it if you're stressed out, stuck in traffic. You can do it if you just feel your stress levels rising at work. You can do it in the middle of the night if you wake up and your brain starts thinking about everything you have to do and you're not going to get back to sleep. Shut down the brain, count your breaths, get back into your rest and digest state, and you'll fall back to sleep. Another recommendation is to do a functional medicine liver detox program to help your body get the toxins out and empty your overflowing trash cans. The key here is not to do any detox that you just buy in the store, but a true functional medicine detox, because this supports phase 2 of the liver detoxification process, which is the phase where the toxins are turned into a substance so that we can actually get it out of the body through our bowel movements, our urine, and our sweat. And we support this by adding in vitamins and minerals that the body needs in order to complete this phase 2 process. And the unfortunate thing is with our overused soil systems these days, these nutrients are no longer in the soil. Therefore, they're not in the food. Therefore, we need to supplement and support the liver through this process. And in doing so, it will have you feeling better in just a few days and make your body less hospitable to disease. Another aspect of a functional medicine detox is getting you to intermittent fast every night. And this is a hot topic these days, and there's a lot of mixed information about it, but I want to let you know that the maximum amount of hours you should intermittent fast is 12 to 14 hours. Do not go longer than that, especially you women, because when we go longer than 14 hours, the body thinks it's starving. It goes into survival mode. What happens then? It starts to produce cortisol. What happens then? It's producing cortisol and shutting down procreation and stealing from progesterone. That can create that estrogen dominant state I was in, which leads to horrible symptoms, migraines and others, as well as potentially breast cancer. And it impacts your thyroid as well when we're putting our hormones out of balance like this. So don't go longer than 14 hours, but having dinner at 7 p.m. and breakfast at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. window is perfect, because it allows your body that extra time overnight when it detoxes, the time to really fully detox, which it needs in our toxic world these days. And it moves all of those toxins into your lymphatic drainage tissue. In addition to intermittent fasting, 2 days of each week, we put the body into a state of autophagy or deep cleaning. And this is when digestion is shut down enough that the body actually has time to clean up dead cells, damaged cells, pathogens in the body, toxins lining the intestinal tract, and really move them out. Now, I know I just said don't intermittent fast for more than 14 hours, but what we're doing here, where we put the body into autophagy, is giving you a shake full of all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients your body needs in any given day, so that the body's getting what it needs, but in a really, really easy way for the body to process it, so that digestion takes just a few minutes instead of a few hours, so the body can get back to deep cleaning. And when we get rid of all of those dead cells and damaged cells, guess what the body does? It starts making new cells, because it's a self-healing machine, right? And that gives you renewed energy and vitality, and you really do start feeling amazing. So here's something that's kind of fun for you. That gurgling sound you hear in your stomach when you associate that with hunger, well, guess what? It isn't actually hunger. It's a sign that your little cleaners are coming out to play. And it means digestion has finished, because it's been long enough since your last meal that now they can come out and clean. So I celebrate that sound, because I know, yay, my body is doing some cleaning that it needs to do. So this program is highly effective. The meal replacement shakes are delicious and leave you feeling satiated. And I get great feedback from my clients, like the client who on day 3 told me, oh my God, I haven't had any gut issues for 3 days, which is unheard of for me. Or my favorite that I'm hearing over and over again is, I cannot remember the last time I felt this good. Interestingly, other cultures still do detoxes regularly, such as Ayurvedic medicine, Latin American culture, Asian culture. It is only Western culture that doesn't promote this and has decided that having a shower and washing our outer body is good enough. But it isn't. We have to detox our insides too in order to lower our inflammation levels, achieve optimal health, and boost our gut and our immune system and health and body overall. Some of you may have done this already, but I have a toxic load quiz that I will share at the end of the webinar. So if you haven't done it, you can complete it to discover your toxic load. We really need to empty our trash cans as a starting point on our journey to optimizing our health. So let's move on to problem number 2, which is some of the things that we've been taught over the years are not actually true in regards to our health. So the first one is the use of antibacterial soap. We were all told to use this because it would leave our hands cleaner and we wouldn't spread germs and viruses because we'd be killing all the bacteria. The problem is it's not only killing the bad bacteria, but it's killing the good bacteria in our gut and causing our gut to get into dysbiosis or get out of balance. We're also told to clean with bleach and other household chemicals to keep the house super clean and again, eradicate germs, right? Even when we use gloves to do this, we're still getting exposed to the toxins through the fumes. They have powerful fumes and they get up our nose and into our body and cause damage. Cleaning dishes in the dishwasher because it's a higher temperature, so they're going to come out cleaner and it's going to kill all the bacteria, and that's the healthiest way. The reality is our body needs microbes that we get from dirt, and in order to have a well-balanced gut, we need to be exposing ourselves to a wide variety of microbes. So washing dishes in the sink actually allows us to share microbes between family members. And in a family with pets, it's even healthier when we share their microbes too. In fact, the ideal number of pets in a household is 5. So if any of you have kids asking for pets, you might want to factor that into your decision making. Kids that grow up in households with pets have far less allergies and get less sick than families that don't have pets. The use of antibiotics, something we've been told, restores our health, right? However, antibiotics were created to be used in life and death situations. And in the last 30 years, they've been used far more frequently as pharmaceutical companies encourage doctors to write more prescriptions. But one dose, not one treatment plan, wipes out your entire gut flora. So only use them if you really have to, because for so many health issues, there are other natural ways to help you heal. And if you do have to use an antibiotic, please use a probiotic as well. They need to be spaced at least 2 hours apart so they don't cancel each other out. But you need to be putting back in good flora because that antibiotic is wiping out everything. Our microbiome or gut ecosystem is as unique as our individual fingerprints. And therefore, the food that our body likes is just as unique. Yet we were raised to eat what was put in front of us. And we weren't necessarily given the opportunity to say, this food makes me feel unwell. And we may not have even realized it was the food because with food intolerances, it's generally 48 to 72 hours later that we feel crappy. I'm the guilty parent that put one of my own children through this back in my corporate days before I'd gone back to school and knew all of this stuff. My youngest daughter struggled with extreme pain every day after eating lunch at school and would put her head down on her desk, unable to function. She didn't want to play with her friends anymore after school. She didn't want to play soccer, which was her favorite sport. She was only 7 years old, and I had no idea what had happened to my previously active social daughter. I took her to the doctor, who simply said, all little girls get tummy aches. She'll grow out of it. And when I asked how long that would take, there was no answer. She was miserable. I couldn't just wait to let her grow out of this. So I realized I had to figure this out for myself and turned to holistic medicine and discovered another powerful functional medicine lab test. It was the food sensitivity test. And that told me exactly what her body could and couldn't tolerate. She was wheat and dairy intolerant, which I had been feeding her tons of. I was told she could have spelt, which I'd never heard of before. And then I was left completely to my own devices to figure out how to change her diet. And that was okay because I wasn't the one that was feeling like crap. So I had the energy to be able to do that. This was back in 2007, though, before being gluten-free became popularized. So it took a lot of research. And I had chosen to feed her eggs every day for breakfast for lack of any other ideas how to replace the cereal and toast breakfast she'd been used to, and to get breakfast on the table quickly before we had to get out the door. Well, after about a week of eggs, she complained when I put an egg in front of her and said, "I don't want this anymore." I was just trying to get through my morning and get us out the door, and I thought she was being difficult. So I didn't listen, and I kept feeding her eggs and telling her to eat them. A month later, we went for a retest, and guess what? She now showed a high intolerance to eggs. And for me, it was one of those duh moments, because I realized she had been trying to tell me in her 7-year-old language that this wasn't something that her body liked, but I wasn't listening. So of course I stopped feeding her eggs and found new breakfast options for her. And about 2 weeks after that, it was such a relief to see her bouncing back with a smile on her face, asking to have friends over instead of constantly moaning and groaning and being in pain. And even better was getting to watch her play soccer on the weekends again. So the next time I saw our doctor, I mentioned the success we'd had because I thought she would want to know about this and could help others. Her answer surprised me, though. She said, "There's no scientific proof in any of that stuff." And the answer inside my head was, yes, there is. She's standing right next to me with no more tummy aches, and that's scientific enough proof for me. The problem is our mainstream practitioners do not have access to these lab tests, haven't been taught how to read them, and in many cases don't even know they exist. So back to trying as children, to voicing our dislike of foods, was that you? Were you told to eat everything that was put on the plate in front of you because there were starving children in the world and you didn't have a choice? You didn't have the opportunity to say food didn't make you feel good? It's highly likely that that's happened. And so you ate it, and you continue to do so for your entire life, creating increased discomfort over time, creating inflammation, and it became a problem that you couldn't pinpoint because you don't think it's the food. When you've eaten it your whole life, you think something else is wrong with you. But you see, we hit a tipping point. And that tipping point is when the body starts talking to you and giving you louder symptoms, saying, "I can't do this anymore. The toxic load is too high. I can't keep eating this food that I've never liked. And you need to do something about it." I like to say, listen when your body whispers so it doesn't have to yell at you, right? When your body talks to you, it's asking you to take an action and do something different. Another problem that gets us into this situation is that we often try to follow diets that our friends recommend. It worked well for them, and then you try it and it doesn't work for you. Well, this is why your microbiome is different. Your tipping point is different. There are as many diets on this planet as there are people. We all need to discover the right way to eat for our unique body. A big part of this is listening to our body. You are your own best doctor. You have lived in your body your entire life. And when you listen to your body, you will know when something is wrong. And then you can do something about it. And a doctor telling you nothing is wrong when you know something is wrong is so unfair. Listen to your body and get a second opinion. So let's talk about solutions to problem number 2. The first one, super easy. Stop using antibacterial soap and wash your dishes and your pet dishes in the sink more often. Choose non-toxic cleaning chemicals for cleaning your home. I like the Young Living brand, the doTERRA brand, but there's so many companies that are now coming out with all natural cleaning products, and they're excellent. And using them, you aren't damaging the health of your microbiome and breathing in the chemicals and getting them onto your skin and into your body. I also want you to look at the cosmetic products you use and trade up for non-chemical versions. The average woman puts on over 200 chemicals onto her skin as she gets ready for her day. And the problem is when it's on our skin, it goes straight into our bloodstream. At least when we put it into our mouth, the liver gets to process it first and remove the toxins before it gets into our bloodstream. but on our skin, it's straight into our bloodstream. So there's many things that you can do, including making some of your own products or buying brands that don't have toxins in them. I make my own deodorant. I make my own toothpaste. I use simply coconut oil to take off my eye makeup remover, and it leaves my eyes feeling nourished, and it's not causing any harm. So I talked about the fact that our body needs a wide variety of microbes. So get out into nature, because that's where we get them. You want the microbes getting onto your skin, not the toxins. Get your hands dirty when gardening. Walk in nature barefoot. Go for a walk in the woods and let the wind blow microbes onto you. Lie down in the grass. As kids, you probably rolled down the grassy hills. Do that. 1 teaspoon of soil has as many organisms in it as there are people on the planet. So we need to get dirty. It's good for us. And of course, you can do food sensitivity testing to determine foods your body likes and doesn't like, just like I did with my daughter. When we know the foods our body doesn't like, we can remove them temporarily, lower the stress on the gut, let the gut heal, lower inflammation on the body, and then once your gut is healthy again, reintroduce the foods and see how you do. It may be that you can't eat that food daily anymore, but perhaps once a week is fine. And because you feel so much better with a healthy gut, it may be that you choose not to eat that food anymore. And your taste buds are going to change because you'll have been trying some new foods. So it's a wonderful way to really lower the inflammation on your body and lower the stress on your whole digestive system. And everything becomes a choice, because when you know this food makes me feel like crap, you can decide if you want to feel like crap the next day just because you like the taste of it. Or maybe you don't want to feel like crap the next day, so you choose not to eat it and choose something that serves your body better instead. And don't worry, I will never ask you to be 100% perfect. We're all human. But I do suggest the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the time you get to have your cheat meal. And if you eat in a way that serves your body, 80% of the time, you are going to have great energy, feel amazing, and be loving life and sleeping better as well. So moving into problem number 3, that is that we haven't been taught the importance of looking after our gut microbiome or how important it is to our health. The gut ecosystem houses 40,000 species of bacteria, 5 million species of fungi, and 300,000 species of parasites. This is 6 pounds of living species inside of you, 100 trillion microbes. There's more of them than there are human DNA inside your body, all working symbiotically together for our well-being, breaking down our food and helping move vitamins and minerals and nutrients into our bloodstream and into our cells for energy and vitality, and helping move toxins out. But when our gut gets out of balance and we have too many toxins or bad bacteria, too much yeast or fungus or parasites, it doesn't function as well as it should. And over time, it breaks down and we get poor nutrient absorption, low energy, leaky gut, fatigue, brain fog, and more. In general, you don't feel great. You go to the doctor wondering what is wrong with you. The more imbalanced your gut is, the more food intolerances you will have. But as we heal your gut, your food intolerances will lessen. So the health of your microbiome affects your digestive capacity, because I said, if it's not healthy and it's not in balance, we don't have good bacteria breaking down our food, that's going to affect our digestion. Well, that then affects our energy levels, because we eat food for energy, and if it's not getting broken down, we're not getting those energy resources. It also affects our immunity, because 70% of our immune system is housed in our gut. And so if our gut isn't happy, our immune system is not optimized. And it affects our mental health, because serotonin and dopamine, our neurotransmitters that are our feel-good hormones, are made in our gut. 90% of serotonin is made in the gut. So if the gut isn't happy, it can't make those optimally either, and we don't feel as good. So you can start to see now how our gut is so integral to our overall health. And yet, the typical standard American diet provides only 17 of the 90 nutrients we need to optimize the health of our gut. You see, there's a problem that we have today, and that is that our food industry is also a for-profit industry, and they don't care about our health. And we have a health industry that doesn't care about our food, because the doctors are not trained in nutrition and the benefits of food. The reality is that every piece of food you put on the end of your fork is either the best form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. But as the food industry has moved from being growing food for a local community into this massive global for-profit industry of, convenience foods and ready-made meals, it's become all about profit. How can we make the shelf life last longer? Let's put in more chemicals. How can we make this more cheaply? Let's use GMO foods. Let's use some other chemicals in order to produce this more cheaply and take out the real food. How do we get more people to buy this? Let's add salt, let's add sugar so that they like it more and become addicted and want more. But unfortunately, these foods that we trust are safe because they're in our stores are actually killing the health of our gut. The health of your microbiome can actually be traced back prior to your birth. Were you born by C-section? Pop that in the chat if you know, because you'll want to tune in here for sure. Too often, doctors are recommending a C-section birth, but is it really necessary, or are they doing it for their own convenience? Yes, it is required in some life or death cases for mom or baby, but I was told recently by a nurse who helps women prepare for natural childbirth and works in a lower mainland hospital near Vancouver that 55% of their births in 2020 were by C-section. Most of them were planned. The reason it's so important is that our microbiome development starts as we pass through the vaginal birth canal and we get mom's microbes all over our little body. A C-section baby misses out on all of these healthy microbes to kickstart the development of their microbiome. The continued development of that microbiome comes from breast milk, the colostrum in the breast milk, which has prebiotics in it that baby can't digest. It's food for the microbes for their healthy development. The microbiome is not fully developed until age 3, and it is actually passed down 4 generations on mom's side, and it is as unique to you as your fingerprints. A whole generation of people in North America that are in their 40s to 60s now were not breastfed because companies marketed bottled milk as more convenient and as the best way to go, and that it was exactly the same as breast milk, only it wasn't because it didn't have those prebiotics in it for the microbes. And as such, our gut health was not set up for optimal health from babyhood. Do you know if you were bottle fed? Type that in the chat. So I also want to move on here. I mentioned leaky gut earlier, and this is extremely common today, and I want to share this information with you. It's all about the tight junctions in the gut lining. And under stress, under many of the conditions we're living in today, they start to separate and get holes in them, like that image on the right. The tight junctions are there to keep your bloodstream pure and only let nutrients through. But as our gut health breaks down, these junctions open up and we start having antibiotics, pathogens, fungus, bacteria, and more getting into our bloodstream. This means our liver now has to work even harder to cleanse our bloodstream every 6 minutes. And it is this basis that starts all autoimmune disease. Common triggers of leaky gut are gluten. So when we messed with the seed for wheat production to create a more drought-resistant crop, it has a new protein in it called gliadin. And gliadin tears a tiny little hole in your gut every time you eat it, in the lining of your gut. Now, that's okay because we're a self-healing machine, right? But if you are eating gluten 3 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, your body has a lot of healing to do. And that's on top of healing the bruise that you got yesterday, or the sprained ankle, or the cut finger, or the virus you're fighting, or the broken arm. And the body can't keep up. In addition to that, dairy is highly inflammatory, and inflammation causes those junctions to separate. Inflammatory foods due to food intolerances causes those junctions to separate. The use of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories cause that, such as aspirin and ibuprofen, are also triggers of leaky gut. as are chemo treatments, birth control, antibiotics, alcohol, chronic stress, chlorine, and fluoride. So you're starting to see that there's a lot of people there that have leaky gut, and this can come back and affect your overall gut health and your ability to absorb the nutrients from what you eat and enjoy your food without pain. A leaky gut left untreated can also lead to a leaky brain, which is even worse because none of you want that. But once those pathogens are in the bloodstream, if they can cross the blood-brain barrier, you end up with leaky brain. So what can we do here? Well, the fastest way to healing your gut is to see inside with functional medicine lab tests so we know exactly what's going on. Do you have parasites, SIBO, yeast, functional overgrowth, H. pylori, leaky gut, or a combination of the above? That way we know exactly what is going on and we aren't guessing. And then after doing your labs, I review the results with you and provide a personalized wellness protocol guiding you through the exact process of healing your gut specific to exactly what you have going on. So I just want to share what these labs look like very quickly with you. This one is the food intolerance lab that I did with my daughter many years ago. Back then, it wasn't nearly as many foods. Now it tests for 190 different foods across all ethnicities. The person on the left, the sample report, is an example of someone with a leaky gut. They have a lot of food intolerances because their gut is out of balance and very unhappy. But now we know, and we can start to remove the foods that trigger the most problems for them in order to lower the stress while we heal their gut. And then over time, as their gut heals, we can start reintroducing foods. The lab on the right is mine. My body doesn't like casein, which is the protein in cow's milk. It also doesn't like cow's milk, doesn't like yogurt. So I don't have them very often, but I also know how to look after the health of my gut. This is only page 1 of this report, but the rest of my report looks like this as well. We can absolutely take somebody from that report on the left to the report on the right. We just need to know what's going on in order to guide you through that process. This next lab I love. This one is excellent for seeing what exactly is going on inside your gut. It shows me whether you have yeast overgrowth, bacterial overgrowth, mold, fungus, but it also shows on page 2 your neurotransmitter function, because remember I said if your gut's unhealthy, then your neurotransmitters aren't going to be produced as they should be. It shows me your vitamin levels and whether you're deficient or not. It shows me your detoxification pathways, your energy pathways, and is very helpful in resolving people's gut issues and optimizing your overall health. So once we do the labs, as I said, I provide you the results and provide a personalized wellness protocol for you. Now, I am only one of 3 integrative health practitioners in Western Canada and one of 13 in all of Canada, but it doesn't matter where I am or where you are, as my lab tests and my business are 100% virtual. The lab tests get mailed to your house for you to do in the comfort of your own home, and you mail them to the lab. They're urine tests, saliva tests, a snipping of your hair, and a blood spot. So you prick your finger and a drop of blood drops onto a card and you submit that. So it's very easy to do. And then I get the results, I review them with you, and we continue that process of guiding you through your healing journey. There's at least 2 more follow-up sessions after we review your labs. So how do we heal some of these gut issues? What does the process look like? Well, it takes about 12 weeks to kill a pathogen, SIBO, parasite, yeast overgrowth, etc., and replace it with good bacteria. We have to change the products every month because they could build immunity to them if we don't. Here's the interesting thing. They have chosen you as their host. They like you and they want to stay there, and they're very smart. However, they're causing you pain and we do need to get them out. So they build what I like to say, it's a film over them. I think of it as like an igloo, right? To protect themselves from you trying to eradicate them. And many candida and bacterial overgrowth protocols don't deal with this. They just try to attack the pathogen, but they're not getting to the pathogen because they're not breaking down this film. And so that's why people might start to feel better, but then it comes back again and they don't understand why. And it's because they never fully got rid of that pathogen. My program, we first use a biofilm disruptor. This is called a biofilm, and we poke holes in it with that biofilm disruptor so that when we use the antimicrobial to kill the pathogen, it gets through the holes of that biofilm and actually gets to the pathogen to kill it off. And then we also put good probiotics and gut flora back in there. So that's the difference in the program that I offer versus most of them that are out there. We have to first eliminate that biofilm. And then after that 12-week program, there's another 12-week program which heals your gut lining. I've just showed you what happens with a leaky gut and a damaged gut lining. We don't want that for you. We want to heal it. And those pathogens cause damage to it. So you'll be taking specific herbs in very easy in a supplement that promote the healing of your gut lining to ensure you don't end up with leaky gut. Throughout this program, you're provided meal plans, shopping lists, recipes to make it much easier. And I also have an app where you can track your sleep and your food and your hydration and your self-care and your exercise and how you're feeling and your bowel movements and more. And you can put notes in there, and all of that flows through to me. So you know that I'm there supporting you. And there's a chat function so that when you have questions, you can get your questions answered. You don't have to wait until your next appointment as you would have to do if you were working with a doctor. As we go through these sessions, I'm also talking to you about sleep, about stress, about exercise, etc., so that we can be optimizing your overall health. And as we get towards the end, I start weaning you off what you no longer need because now your body has come back into balance and will continue healing itself. So I'm sure you want to fully heal the fastest way so that you can stop this struggle, right? It's been going on for long enough. I've given you the steps here today as to how to get started healing your gut with some things that you can start doing today, right away, to ease your pain and discomfort. And there are some things that you need to do with me in order to fully heal. So if you are ready to get started, I would love to help you. After all, without your health, what else do you have? Investing in you and your health with the expert guidance will increase your success in your healing journey. I'm sure many of you are likely feeling frustrated by the lack of answers and support you've had in your efforts to heal so far. But I'm asking you right here, right now, if you are ready to stop struggling with food and start enjoying it again. Type that answer in the chat. Are you ready? I know that you can get your life back to the way you want it, not having to overthink every meal, factor in bathroom visits, turn down social invitations because you aren't sure your body will cooperate. I know that when you follow my personalized program, you will enjoy transformational healing of your gut that will turn your life around and get you back to enjoying food and loving your life again, with the freedom to eat what you want, when you want, with whom you want, just like my other clients have experienced. And if you're ready to believe that you can heal and are willing to trust in the process of getting to the root cause of your gut health issues and would like to start now, I've put together something special for you. I'm going to drop a link in the chat in a sec, and you can sign up for a free 30-minute Heal Your Gut session with me. My schedule fills up quickly, so I highly encourage you to do this right away so that you can get your first choice of time that you want in terms of being able to meet with me. So I'm just dropping that into the chat, and it's also on this slide if you want to write it down. And as an added bonus for booking right away, I will give you a 20% off promo code for any program that you choose to buy with me. And I will give that to you at the end of our 30-minute call. And that will help you get started on your healing journey. I also promised you my Discover Your Toxic Load quiz, which is on the slide as well, but I'll drop it in the chat here too, so it might be easier for you to access. I think that's just dropped in. There you go. And so feel free to do that and find out just how toxic you may be. You may be surprised. So I want you to imagine for a second what your life looks like once you no longer have to worry about food, being able to eat anywhere, accept social invitations, enjoy a variety of foods, and feel nourished instead of crappy. And because I come at this from a bit of a different way, I care about you and your individual needs. And I don't think the cookie cutter approach works. I want you to be able to live your best life doing whatever it is you were put here on this planet to do. Just like I am put on this planet to help people get to the root cause of their health issue and guide their health journey. On a one-to-one call, I will help you start to figure out your unique culprit and fast track your healing with the use of the right lab tests. I'm so passionate about the difference that this can make in your life. I want you to get the fastest results possible. And you are possibly wondering, am I really going to be able to overcome my food issues? And secondly, whether I am the person to help you. Well, yes, you absolutely can overcome your food issues. And yes, I have the tests that will tell us your exact culprits that your doctor doesn't have access to. But you don't just have to listen to me. Here's a video from somebody else that wanted to share her experience.
As a woman who is 43 years old and has had a lifestyle of pretty much eating majority carbs, breads, rice, and having a desire to become healthier, I have tried several different detoxes, several different quote unquote diets. And it wasn't until I, number one, heard Melissa kind of share her expertise on health and gut health specifically, that I became intrigued. And because I'm on this journey, I wanted to learn more about how I can make what I was already doing even better. And I have to tell you that working with Melissa has been life-changing, to the point where as recent as last night, I thought about her when it came to how much water and what type of environment, meaning what type of cup I'm using, and wanted to call her because I knew that she would have the answer as to how much water I should be drinking and what type of cups I should have, so that I'm not getting a lot of toxic chemicals back into my body, because I just did a detox. My experience with not only, Melissa and the detox that I purchased from her, my experience has been phenomenal. In previous versions, the detox that I've tried have left me bloated, potentially gaining weight. Actually, I did gain weight after one, but never did I feel better after the detox. I always felt worse. But the detox that I did with Melissa, none of that. I have cut out rice. I'm actually now doing cauliflower rice because of the detox. I don't want it. My body actually doesn't want it. Spaghetti, bread, I don't want any of it anymore. As a matter of fact, even saying it is making my stomach hurt, because the detox helped me, but two, just really understanding how those things affected my body. And Melissa helped me with all of it. So if you are like me, have had gut issues, and you're not sure if this is going to work, because I was definitely one of those people, at a minimum, have a conversation with her. I promise you will see that not only does she have the knowledge, but she can help you through your gut issues, your potential food issues. She could help you. So Melissa, thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support, your continued support on my journey for becoming a healthier person. But for the potential client that's watching this, sign up. It will save you. It will save your life, save your gut. It will save you the frustration of dealing with what I've been dealing with for the past probably about 20 years. So again, thank you, Melissa. Have a good one. Wow.
So I wanted to come back and just share that with you, because sometimes you need to hear things from a couple different people, right? And what I want you to do right now is make a decision that you are worth it in terms of stepping in to your healing journey. And one of my favorite quotes is the definition of insanity, that doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right? If we want a different result, we have to do things differently. So sign up and talk with me. It's free. You're going to learn something. And if it's a fit, you get a 20% off coupon. You have nothing to lose, and I would love to support you. I know I can help you get a better result than if you were to keep doing it on your own. And given how long you've been struggling, spending 30 minutes on a call, that's nothing. And it could provide the exact thing you've been looking for. I can't wait to talk with you. I believe that most of the people are a victim of a broken healthcare system, which has resulted in all the chronic illness people are struggling with today. Well, I am here as an alternative and an antidote so you can actually heal and not just mask the problem. So thank you very much for joining me here. I know we've just gone a few minutes over, but I would love to open it up to Q&A. I know there were some questions in the chat as well that I can try to go back through. I see some private ones that I can respond to after, but can I get the labs done through my doctor? So your mainstream medical doctor or your personal care physician does not have access to these labs. A holistic practitioner likely would, a naturopathic doctor likely would. The difference between what they do and what I do as an integrative health practitioner is they will run the lab for you, they will show you the results, and then they will send you on your way to figure out how to do it. And when you're already feeling crappy, that's really hard to do in our busy world. You're still trying to get the work done. You're still trying to raise and look after your family. And so that was the gap that I saw in my experience with my kids. And so that's the high level of service that I offer in providing those meal plans and recipes and support through the app and the ability to reach out and ask questions. Because when you can get your questions answered, you keep going and it's easy, as opposed to falling off because you're not sure if you're doing it right. So thank you. Thank you, Mark, for your comments there. That's awesome. If you're tired of having your life being controlled, this is the program for you. Awesome. Somebody said, Skip said, I know you mentioned intermittent fasting and getting to a place of autophagy. What is your feeling about a full week-long fast? Well, I definitely don't think you should go straight to a full week-long fast. If you're going to do that, you need to work up to it with starting off with fasting for a day. Then we're going to move into 2 days and go longer than that. But generally, it will put your body into a state of stress and be really hard on your body. And I know people that have done that, and then it's taken them months to recover. So my personal opinion is that I would rather see you do fasting for 2 days a week for 3 weeks and get 6 days of fasting in that way. And you're getting just about the same results in terms of the healing inside your body, getting toxins out and autophagy, but you don't have that, extended recovery period because you've done it all at once and it's causing too much breakdown inside your body because of the fact you're not giving it the food that it needs. How do you help people stay on track? I find I start and then give up. Yes, that is so common. And so that's where my app comes in really handy, and that ability to communicate with me throughout any program that you're on. You always know you can get your questions answered. You always know there is somebody at the other end of that app that is looking and seeing what you're doing, because we tend to let ourselves down, but we don't let someone else down. And so having the app is like having me in your back pocket, and it keeps you on track. Thanks so much, Tiffany. I love your comment there, working together. And Allison too. Thank you very much. Kathy, we can definitely talk about your 18-year-old daughter with eczema, because yes, eczema starts with the health of the gut. And so we can definitely look at what's going on inside her gut and heal her gut, and that will absolutely resolve her eczema issues. I'm also just redropping the links in the chat for you at the top in case any of you missed them. I see some other private messages there. Thank you very much to everyone who's participated and joined me here this morning. Another one, will your program make me lose weight or gain weight? So toxins weigh something. When I do the detox program with people, they lose weight on average between 7 to 20 pounds, depending how big of a frame they were at when they started the detox. But it's a really healthy way to lose weight because it's slowly over time. And as we get those toxins out, we're just naturally losing weight. On my program, as you saw from what Kina said in the video, you definitely do not gain weight if you follow the program properly. Juniper, I'm so glad it makes sense. Yes. And Victoria, totally. It is easy. I try to make it really easy for you so that you can be successful. I'm glad that you love it. And can we do this process for our kiddies too? So yes, Tiffany, there are some of the labs that I can do with kids, most of them, in fact. I just don't do the hormones ones for kids, but all the other ones I do. And I do a modified detox program for the kids, but we can definitely help them and work with kids because it's really important to also help teach them about their health and being proactive in it and the importance of their health. The reality is that if we invest in our health now, yes, there's a cost to it, but we're investing in our longevity, we're investing in having energy and in a quality of life to the end of our life. And we're paying now instead of paying later. And trust me, if we're not investing now and we end up paying later, we end up in a nursing home for 10 years and have no quality of life, that costs so much more, and not just in monetary value, than if you invest in your health and you're proactive in it now. So yeah, I think that's all the questions there. If I haven't answered your question, there's a question here. So what is it about hunger? How do we know when we're hungry? So that, I think that's in reference to the gurgling sound that I was talking about, that your cleaners are coming out to play, and that we had associated with hunger. So how do we know when we're hungry? Well, what I do is I celebrate that and I allow that to happen, and I give my body 45 minutes. And by then, in my mind, I also know I'm hungry. I always encourage people to, before we put food in our mouth or even start making food, am I truly hungry? Am I physically hungry, or is it more of an emotional hunger? And that's a whole other topic. But when my cleaners come out to play, I allow them to clean for 45 minutes or so, and then I will eat. But I don't necessarily think of it in that term every day. What I instead try to do is space my meals out 3.5 to 4 hours. And then I'm not mindlessly snacking in between. And when I do that, I know that digestion has a chance to complete, my cleaners have time to come out to play, and then it is ready for my body to be fed again. Just seeing if there's any other questions in here. I don't think so. So I just want to say thank you very much for joining me here today. I really appreciate it. I hope that some of you have taken me up on that opportunity to go and book into my calendar and have that complimentary call so we can discuss your specific gut health issues. And I want to welcome you into your healing journey and being proactive in your health and taking away some of the education I've provided today that you can start implementing at home right now, today. Somebody said another thing, I sometimes get really sleepy after I eat to the point where I pass out for an hour or more. Why is this happening? It can be happening because the food that you're eating is putting so much stress on your digestive system. A healthy digestive system uses 30% of your energy at any given time. An unhealthy digestive system uses more. So when you eat, that 30% or more of energy is taken away from doing other things that you want to be doing. And if you are putting your body under higher stress because the food that you're eating, your body is intolerant to, you've eaten too much, you've eaten too quickly, you're eating when you're not in your rest and digest state, all of those things affect the energy level that is needed for digestion. And in this case, if you're falling asleep right away, it's because your body is asking for more energy in order to complete that digestive process. So I'm super happy. Thank you, Victoria. I look forward to talking to you. Thanks for booking a call. And Matt's booked. Awesome. Skip, you too. Awesome. Look forward to talking to all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I welcome you into your healing journey. And I would love to be the person to start guiding you to optimizing your health. Take care. Health is your true wealth.